Hi everyone, I'm Yasha, and welcome to another episode of Election Scoop. Today, as promised, I'm starting on a series of episodes designed to tell you about each 2020 presidential candidate, and we're going to be starting today with Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. There was speculation that Warren was going to run in 2016, but she decided to wait and run for the nation's highest office in this cycle. Before her election to the Senate, Warren's first governmental position was as a leader on the Congressional Oversight Committee of TARP, the Troubled Assets Relief Program, which was set up in the wake of the 2008 recession as a program to effectively purchase quote-unquote toxic stocks and securities which no one else wanted to buy. So Warren was active in monitoring that, and afterwards became President Obama's advisor to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which was established by the Democratic government as another response to the financial crisis. So after making herself known as sort of a financial watchdog in Washington, Warren returned to Massachusetts and ran for the Senate, defeating incumbent Republican Scott Brown, who had taken office following a special election 2 years earlier in the 2010 GOP landslide. Warren won that race by 7.5 points, fairly narrow by Massachusetts standards, but in the 2018 elections coasted to an easy 24-point re-election. In the Senate, Warren has been one of the most consistent ideological progressives in Congress, as this chart from GovTrack, a congressional research website, shows. She has sponsored some very high-profile bills during her time, including a bill to refinance student loans, give same-sex couples the same IRS rules as other couples, cap prescription drug costs at reasonable rates, and simplify the tax filing system. Many of these bills are key Democratic policy initiatives. So as that list might have shown, Warren is definitely geared towards the economic side of politics in Washington. The most common types of bills she sponsors are things like health, finance, labor, stuff like that. Even the military bills that it talks about here, armed forces and national security, often have to do a lot with veterans' health care and financial problems. She has also been well known for grilling corporate CEOs on their misdoings, such as her famous exchange with the CEO of Equifax. So far, Warren's campaign is focused on the same things that she's been working on in the Senate. Technically, she hasn't officially started her campaign. She's only on the stage called the Exploratory Committee, which basically states that she plans to run. And in her announcement video, Warren talked about her history in consumer protection, opposition to what she sees as ties between business and government, and creating a better deal for the middle class. She did mention social issues such as same-sex marriage and religious differences, but these clearly took a back seat to her economic message. So let's take a step back and look at the big picture. Would Elizabeth Warren be a good candidate for the Democratic Party? Well, one thing that struck me about her campaign video on her website is that her rhetoric is a lot like Bernie Sanders, like her focusing on middle class recovery and opposing Wall Street greed. So she could do very well in taking back some of the momentum on the left that Democrats lacked in 2016. One downside, and I hate to mention it, is the whole genealogy issue. In a nutshell, Warren claimed she had significant Native American DNA, but an ancestry test said otherwise. Fundamentally, this isn't a real issue, but it can be used against her, and already many politicians, including the president, have mocked her for it. Another, maybe more traditional problem is geography. Warren's region, the Northeast, as of now has 22 members of the House of Representatives, of which 0 are Republicans. As opposed to other candidates who might be from swingier areas, we know Warren will win Massachusetts and probably everywhere around it. New Hampshire and Maine could be more competitive, but there's no real geographical advantage in running a candidate from Massachusetts. So that's the scoop about Senator Elizabeth Warren. She's the first, but certainly not the last, in the series of presidential candidates we will be covering. So thanks for watching, and remember, don't forget to vote.